Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted. What the fuck, man?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Topless Robot Podcast, Episode 9. I am Ryan.
My name is Brooks.
And I'm Tyler.
And it's been a week of things and stuff. And things and stuff.
Not to be confused with
But most
stuff and
importantly, stuff.
I would argue most importantly, things.
You are more one of those things kind of people, aren't you?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
You know what it means.
Yeah, I guess I do. How's your week been, gentlemen?
It's been good. I finally got to tear into a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I finally got to spend a little bit more time in that as well. I feel like since it came out, I have had precious little time to devote to it.
Me as well, which is, kind of unfortunate for when you're trying to play a game that literally the developer said, 60 hours minimum for the main story?
For the main storyline, yeah.
And that's, if you play Red Dead Redemption 2, you realize very quickly that you're not going to just play the main story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta add a little Yeet-Haw, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm not sure if I do, to be honest.
Go on.
Yee, to yeet.
Yeet.
Yeezy.
Yeet? I don't know what those mean.
Yeet, motherfucker.
Yeet. Yeet.
I don't know what that means. You keep repeating it. That doesn't improve my understanding of the term. I am aware that it is something that the kids say.
It's 'cause you're old. So old.
Groaning like a geezer.
No, it's Kobe for accuracy and Yeet for distance.
Actually, that's the best way of explaining it that I've ever heard. Thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly. Thank you for your insight
the more
into
you know.
the young
To you,
children.
maybe. I know that it has to have to do something to do with the sports because of the Kobe's.
Oh.
But I don't
Kobe's.
know what the Yeets is. Is that a person?
Yeet.
Allow me to define Yeet by way of the internet.
Oh, yes.
Please be Urban Dictionary, and please be choose the most sexually suggestive one.
Which is all of them.
Yes.
Yeet. Yeet is a versatile word that can be used as an exclamation, a verb, or even a noun. As an exclamation, it can be used to express excitement, usually happily but also nervously. It can be used as an exclamation of victory, or as a battle cry or focused shout while throwing or hitting something like "Hiya."
I want to see the period piece movie that has the general going into battle. Yeet, yeet, motherfuckers!
When in its verb form, it has different tenses with different spellings, like any other verb. Present, I yeet. Past and perfect, I was yeeting. Past perfect, I yote. I have yacht.
Is this the Leet Oxford Dictionary for the interwebs? Is that what you just read from?
It's from the Urban Dictionary.
Is that actually Urban Dictionary? I appreciate
No kidding.
the amount of detail that went in
this is
there.
Urban Dictionary.
Someone went through a lot of trouble to outline that.
They came up with past perfect participle versions of this
Future
fucking word.
perfect, I will have yacht. As
That's
a noun, a yeet is the action of yeeting. Yeet can also be a feeling or emotion, usually like an adrenaline rush. All right, let's go to the examples. Dude number 1. Oh, man, it's the last track meet. I am so pumped. I'm just going to yeet down that track. Dude 2. Geez, I'm nervous. I hope I don't screw this up. Dude number 1. You just got to get into the feel of it, dude. Just get that yeet flowing. Dude number 2. Yeah, you're right. Yeet. Yeet!
Yeet! In all of this, you could replace yeet with semen and it would make just as much sense.
Example number 3. A group of brave Mexican vigilantes are rescuing children and their families from gang violence in the South by leading them across the U.S. border. But alas, a wretched wall stands in their way. If only one of the brave leaders had the strength to break through it. Suddenly, one of them backs up, steps 1 foot back. Sorry, that's Urban Dictionary's fault, not mine. Holds their fist out straight and charges at the wall like a bolt of lightning. Yeet! Wall
I'm pretty
crumbles
sure
to the
this
ground.
is exactly the scenario that I was
So-
hoping would actually happen in a movie.
It's like the Leroy Jenkins of...
it's of the 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yeet.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, why were we talking about yeet again?
I don't know. There's some
Where were
yeet.
we?
You
Oh.
did it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeehaw.
Yeet-Haw.
Yeet-Haw.
Ha.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeet-Haw.
I know people that have played it.
Yeet-Kaye, motherfucker.
Just in time for the holiday season.
Yeet, yeet.
But Bruce
That's the sound
Willis
of the
says
police.
it's not a Christmas movie.
Well, Bruce Willis is wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Whoop. That's the sound of the yeet.
Okay, I think we've gone well off track at this point.
Yeah.
You know, we just got to.
Were we ever on track?
We
I
just
don't
have to
think
stick
so.
to KRS one thing at a time, guys.
Oh. Womp, womp.
Oh, that was the sound.
Yeah, it's like a KRS-One sound because they always do the like that kind of, good beatboxers always do that kind of those neat noises.
And bad
Those-
beatboxers
those
don't
yeet
make
noises.
those.
Yeah, bad beatboxers are just kind of like
I went to the store.
no. What
Buy
always
some ham.
What always blows my mind, a few years ago, I went into down the rabbit hole that the internet holds, with any interest that one may have, focusing on beatboxing and seeing some of the people who can keep the beat and sing at the same time, or do sound effects and things, but also sing like just in the spaces between. So like the words may kind of be a little stuttered and split, but they come out, contiguously enough where it's like he's multi-tracking with his vocal cords, and it blows my mind.
Crazy. Like, who's that one guy that is able to? Or I think there might be two guys.
Is there the guy from Police Academy?
The dude that.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously. No, the one that he plays the flute and also
that
beatboxes
is
while he's playing the flute.
That is something Patillo. He
Isn't Bobby Farron?
he
there was like a few guys.
There's the guy that did the Wizard of Oz one.
this guy did the Inspector Gadget beatbox.
Oh yeah, that guy. That was cool.
Which then turned
That's fucking
into 48 Hours. Or was it 48 Hours or Beverly Hills Cop? The boop, 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 boop.
you're talking about Axel F.
Yeah.
Man, I do not know.
I think that was Beverly Hills Cop.
I think that was Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right.
So he is in a group called Project Trio, and it's him on flute and a stand-up bassist and a cellist, and like they do this amazing rendition of the Nutcracker Suite. They do an amazing rendition of Peter and the Wolf. And it's just
I actually would love to hear the Peter and the Wolf one.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
And with his beatboxing flautism, it's just fucking outstanding.
Flautism. Well done. That's like that's a double A English word right there.
I don't actually think it's a word.
Flautist.
You can be a flautist.
Flautist. But I don't know, I think the flautism could be.
The yeetist.
Oh, God damn it. No.
Hey Ryan. Yeet.
That's the sound of the beast. Alas,
I'm-
poor Yorick, I yeet him well.
This is about when Ryan will get into his "get off my lawn," you young whippersnappers.
To yeet or not to yeet? That is the question.
To suffer the
Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows.
Yeet.
I like how that's also the only part of that
all- yeah, no,
soliloquy
that's all
that
I
I
know.
actually remember. I kind of want to know if I feel like this is something that this is more in Brooks' wheelhouse here. How
I'm
far
sure
can you
he
go
has this memorized.
down?
It's been a long time since I had to
soliloquy
memorize
here.
it, so let me think.
But you have to say it in Monty Python voice. To be
or not to be.
Breakfast
That is the
cereals.
question. Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows. And that's usually where I forget.
Yep, that's everyone. That's the end.
I never, like, I read a lot of Shakespeare, but, like, I was never like, Shakespeare is the greatest. Just because, like, I mean, it's great. And don't get me wrong, it's just, I was never, like, that pumped on it, you know?
Never mind that you owe probably a good 90% of your vocabulary to Shakespeare for inventing it.
Including Yeet.
God damn.
I'm fairly certain that Yeet was not in any of
Yeet
Shakespeare's.
has begun,
Going
as
back
say.
into my safe place and
Yeet.
getting away from this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't
It's okay
get
when
it.
you lower those when you lower your headphone band thing, it takes you back to like the 1950s or wherever you're from.
The 1950s. Bitch, I was
You
born
can
on
go
Pearl
down.
Harbor Day.
You can
Wait.
go down. You can go
Hold
down. That doesn't help.
December 7th, 1941. Wow. He's old, folks.
Oh, man.
You see, this is actually Orion's hallucination because he's really in the Raisin Ranch and he thinks that this is a podcast.
I always wanted to do a podcast, and now I have one, and I'm happy.
And the two of you are just like...
We're custodians.
Oh, you fine friends of mine, you're such great performers.
It's time for your afternoon meds, Ryan.
Okay.
It's time for your medicine.
His name isn't even Ryan, it's Dave.
My name is Diane. Oh no, that got dark.
Diane.
Diane. Yes.
Diane Gadget.
Oh my God. Wow.
So we were on the topic of Red Dead
Red Dead
2.
Redemption.
Yes.
Yes.
There. Yeah. Oh, there. What? There it is. Yeah. Hey, guys.
Now it's definitely time for your meds, and I'm not even joking, Ryan. It's been too long. You've skipped your last dose.
Listen, I know according to Article 9 that you can refuse to do certain things, but the state...
Say, I still haven't gotten very far in it. I feel like I'm to a point of where I can wander a little bit more. But
yeah, you said you got to the train robbery.
Yeah.
So are you in Valentine yet?
No,
Okay.
I'm at the beginning of chapter 2.
Okay.
So I got to Horseshoe, whatevs, the camp.
Yeah. Okay. So you're just about to go into the first town.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're just about to get to where it like really starts to open up.
I'm out of the snow, so my horse's balls grew.
Chapter 2.
its balls grew 3 sizes too big,
Too big.
and then it died.
Yeah, that sounds not healthy at all.
No. But
Chapter 2, Elma's Glue and the Charlie Horse Factory.
did you say Elmo's glue?
Elmer's.
Elmo's glue. I don't know why, but my head went. I don't know why, but my head went straight to St. Elmo's glue, and like there's this really weird
St. Elmo's glue.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, no.
I don't know
You know,
why, but that's where my brain went, and I was like, "This is a very weird combination."
I
Of
do
things.
love the love scene, the love theme of St. Elmo's Fire. You've heard it, right?
I'm sure I have.
It was on like a bunch of those Pure Mood CDs because my mom got a couple of those.
Pure moods.
No, that's what I call love.
It wasn't. It was like that. It was like going into the organic grocery store in the 90s and like, look, it's Gorilla Munch and Puffins. That was like the only thing in the store that I actually
Oh,
liked.
puffins were delicious.
Puffins were amazing. I love puffins. I haven't even thought about puffins in forever.
Porgs?
They basically have the same thing as
Porgins.
the bunnies. The what's her name?
Annie's.
Annie's. Yeah, the bunnies are like the puffins, where it's a different bake and they're just super tasty.
I heard Annie's was
I think I had
okay.
that.
It was okay for Annie's.
I had Puffins. I'm gonna go with Brooks on this one.
God damn it, Brooks.
Even as a kid, I thought about that. I was like, as a child, that I've had that one in my wheelhouse for quite some time.
Annie's, hey, they're okay. Hey, they're okay. They're okay, Annie's.
Their box macaroni and cheese was something that I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's true.
The more
You've been struck by a smooth cheddar criminal. Yeet. God, no. See, no, the thing is that what you keep saying is yeet, yeet, motherfucker. That's skeet, skeet, motherfucker, and that is cum.
That's true.
Skeet wipes.
Yeet wipes.
God damn it.
Yeet comes from the Latin word
so
yeetera, which is a verb which means to yeet.
to yeet. So it's tautological.
It's the bootstrap paradox. I went back in time and told a Latin scholar what the definition of the word yeet was.
So I'm curious, with yeet wipes, is it for wiping the yeet off or applying the yeet?
Yes.
Yeet wipes.
It's multi-purpose.
Well, you can buy the yeet wipes or the yeet dab applicator too.
Oh. Stop the world. I want off.
I don't want to be on this planet anymore.
God damn it.
All right. I want to rein in the yeet.
So, Brooks, what have you been up to over this past week?
I'm glad you asked. I watched mere moments before I got into the car and came over here today. I began and finished. And you see, I just lost the name of it.
You just got done watching it.
Outlaw King. Outlaw /
Oh, that's right.
Oh, how was it?
It was awesome. It was the least Chris Pine and it was the least Chris Pine performance I've seen Chris Pine do, and it was really good. I'm not saying that I don't like his work as like Captain Kirk or anything like that, because I do. But to see him play someone that's not Chris Pine and just be this, because he plays Robert the Bruce.
Oh, sweet.
It's really, it's not as, it's not like watching Braveheart. It's not like watching Braveheart, because it's just not, everyone's not super pumped and excited. Everyone's dirty and miserable.
No one's anti-Semitic?
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully
or
not.
Wearing running shoes or parked a truck in the background.
Or a watch.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. It was, they tried to understate how Scottish the Scottish people were, and that only made them more Scottish to me. Just because it wasn't like a bunch of fat bastard impersonations.
Sure.
It was just,
So they didn't try to understate how Scottish they were. They tried to make it actually more period friendly.
Well, they did make the English look like total assholes.
Which would make them Scottish.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was really, and they were pretty nefarious. They were nefarious because they ended up calling up the dragon, so throwing off chivalry, and it's no quarter. They and without getting too much into spoiler territory here, because I recommend you see it. But there's one scene where they draw and quarter somebody, and it's just like, oh wow, I've never seen anyone just do that so casually in filmmaking. As well, there he goes, and then whoop, they're cutting into him, and oh, that's what that looks like. Okay, gross.
I've always been curious, but I didn't.
Yeah, do all limbs give it once, or is it one at a time? And what happens if only one limb goes or one side goes, and the other ones are close to splitting?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
And now I will have to watch some.
And how do you ensure even tension across all lines?
And do they care?
It was a lovely.
Do they want all four? Is that a goal? Did they have?
I imagine that the idea is, all right, we're going to pull it until he's raised off the ground, and then eventually it'll reach a mass of tension, and he'll just drop, and the horses will go.
I'd like to imagine that that's the goal, and the executioners had a little game going, where it's it was the most limbs pulled off at once. Where that's
a 3 for Johnny.
And they just had this chalkboard in the executioner's hall or wherever it was, or
And a 4 would be like a grand slam.
that was only a double. Fuck.
You know who I feel like would be a weird authority on this kind of thing? The guy that writes or wrote, I don't know if it's still going or not, The Wizard of Id comic strip.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That would be perfect.
I don't know if Wizard of Id is still going on.
No, it's been so long since I've paid attention to comics.
I imagine if Beetle Bailey's still going on, then Wizard of Id is probably still going on because they were always one on top of the other. It was always Wizard of Id and then Beetle Bailey.
I feel like comic book comic strips in newspapers. It's like a weird, like frozen part of time where
Yeah,
the same things have been going since 1945. And
they're still doing reruns of Peanuts.
Peanuts, so they're still doing. I
don't think Far Side is in
No.
the papers anymore.
Farsight's been out of the game for quite some time.
I know Far Side isn't updating anymore, but I think it's out of the papers as well. Garfield is still in the papers.
Family Circus, I believe, is still.
Family
too.
Circus.
Have you
is
guys
still
seen that series of creepy Garfield gifs?
Yes, they're amazing.
Have you?
No, I don't
my
think
God.
I have.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about like John just hallucinating Garfield the whole time, because that is also very creepy. I love that strip. Oh,
Garfield without Garfield is what that's called.
Yeah.
Garfield without Garfield.
That's great.
That's fantastic.
This one is great because it has music and sound effects.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
What? Pay no attention to the typing in the background as Ryan. Ooh.
No, that's not right.
Nope, that's not it. Garfield and the Abyss.
Garfield Spider.
I believe in
Creepy
you can
Garfield
find this.
Spider, I think,
You
is
can
the
find
one.
this.
Where?
People will search for. That's the one.
Garfield
Oh.
Nightmare Fuel.
Okay. So what is this? Is it like an homage, or is it a
No.
almost like not a spoof, but a
Do you enjoy John Carpenter's The Thing? Yeah, it's that, but like it looks like a game.
okay? So I've seen
Yeah.
that. I've seen that image before.
Hang on,
That's
I'm
it.
gonna look for it as well so I can, because yeah, it's that, but it moves.
What the fuck is that?
Garfield. Let's see.
We're having trouble.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
When I'll get Zeke to send it to me because he's the one that showed it to me, and I was just like,
Bullets don't work.
because it's
John.
got
What the fuck
yeah,
is this?
It's an extension of this, but in like pixel art.
I don't like this. I mean, it's interesting. This is terrifying. No, thank you.
So that's got to be the same artist.
Yeah, I believe so.
Where's
Yeah.
my lasagna? John, I require lasagna.
So good. So good.
So good.
No. There are no Carolines here. Your Caroline is in another castle.
Also, somebody last night at this thing I was at, because the DJ was playing.
wonderfully vague.
Because I went to like a birthday thing last night.
This thing I was at.
Someone last night at this thing that I was there,
Had
and
stated-
something happened.
Stated that
Yeet, Caroline.
Yeet, yeet,
dab. But stated that Because I Got High, you know the song Because I Got High,
Cause I got high.
is like our generation's Sweet Caroline. Even though that song isn't that old, is still a little too old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, it doesn't have callbacks.
It doesn't.
No.
But like,
Sweet Caroline built its own callbacks. Like they're not even like the whole so good is not in the song
Yeah.
or anything. They're like, you know, because I got high. I mean, I guess maybe people go la da 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 da.
Yeah,
But-
that definitely does happen when that song is on, but it's not the same.
I would argue that, and this is definitely too old. but the better option to that, and even it doesn't really compare because it's just one that everyone else sings along to. Is you got what I need, but you say he's just a friend. You say he's just a friend. Now, baby, you. Yeah.
I got what you need right here. I found it.
Oh, look, he called a friend.
Did you message it to me?
I did.
Oh, I thought you were messaging Zeke about it.
No.
Ooh, we have.
I don't need him.
You are strong, independent, Brooks. Oh.
Oh.
Ew. I don't like this.
Do
God,
it.
there's sound. Oh.
Oh, this makes me so happy.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love it.
No, thank you.
Status detected. John, I can smell you.
Oh, that's fucking
That's
terrifying and awesome. Thank you, at Lumpy Touch, for
Oh my God. They're so good.
so good.
God damn it.
Danger.
No. Oh my God, it's so great. This makes me think of.
Hey.
Wait.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Clock Tower, I think. You know the Scissor Man? Welcome to an extension of Scaring Tyler. Terrify Tyler.
Disturbing.
The animation kind of reminds me of Paul Robertson's work. It's the text noise is the text noise from Punch-Out.
Ah.
This needs to actually become a real game.
I was saying the exact same thing. There's
And yeah,
This is fucking terrifying. Doo-doo,
Part
doo-doo,
two.
doo-doo, doo-doo. There was the Pokemon.
Okay, so he's only released 3.
That was terrifying. That is
Those
awful.
were awesome, and I apologize
amazing.
to our viewers that I was not capturing my my computer screen at that time. I will put those videos in at the appropriate times on the live action YouTube version of this podcast, because we have started filming the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
For better or worse, you can see us now.
Look.
I am the stunt double that was hired to be the body for Brooks to speak over.
Yeah, Brooks is nothing but ADR.
Brooks is actually a collection
how?
of quotes and references. He's not actually a real person.
Yeah, we just chop and do a baseline tone change to.
That explains why I always talk like this. And sometimes when I get excited, I talk like this. Tyler, where's my lasagna?
So this week I went and saw very good friends Downtown Brown and Psycho Stick play, and it's always fun to see them play. I got some Red Dead Redemption gameplay time in, but I think for the most part I was playing Diablo 3 on the Switch. I've been playing that every opportunity that I have lately. And
How are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I wonder how they market.
It translates well.
I wonder how they market that in, like, Spanish-speaking countries, because Diablo just means devil, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So do they call it, like, on the box, Devil 3?
Devil 3. Yeah, they call it Devil 3.
What was that one? There was a car. I forget what it was.
It was the
Nova.
Chevy Nova, because Nova means doesn't go.
So it totally failed in
yeah.
Spanish-speaking countries. Everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Novas are cool.
Yeah.
Chevy Nova.
But in Spanish, Nova.
The Chevy doesn't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Yep.
The Chevy Go Fast.
They just changed it to the Chevy Rapida.
Yeah.
Rapido. I don't know.
The Loss of the V8 Interceptors.
I recently bought a new game on Switch, and I can't remember what it is. It's like Anne and the Forgotten something.
Oh, Pepper Ann.
Pepper Ann.
That's all anyone remembers.
That's all I remember that one as well.
All I know is her dad in one episode was like a blimp pilot.
And I remember
Don't know what
she
this
was
is.
in some Sprite commercials or something.
Yeah, it
What
was
is-
it was like a prototype of the Betty Spaghetti revival or whatever. I remember seeing when I was a
Pepper
kid.
Yeah, you don't remember Pepper Ann? It was like one of the ABC Saturday morning cartoons.
It was after they acquired Doug, I believe, or around
Yeah.
that time that they acquired Doug, and so when Doug got weird.
When Doug got weird.
That
That sounds like a good like follow up.
but it was one of those things
Doug
that
got weird.
it was on after recess.
I don't remember Pepper Ann at all. I do remember Recess. I loved Recess.
Forgotten Anne is the name of the game, and it's all hand-drawn art, and
I
it's
think I saw.
super pretty, and it's this very interesting world where it's like, in order to give you an idea of where you are, in the intro cinematic, they like show someone reaching for a lost sock underneath the bed, and then the sock just kind of disappears. So, and you see the sock descend into this world, and the sock gains sentience. And so it's the world where all of the forgotten or lost things from the human world go and live in this forgotten place.
Isn't that an episode of Erie, Indiana?
Probably. Actually, yeah, I do remember that. And the portal to it was like through the dryer.
I think I saw it. I remember that.
I have to look up because I think I've seen the Forgotten Anne thing before.
Regardless, it's still a cool concept.
Yeah. And the artwork is the controls are a little sluggish, but it seems like a very interesting game so far. I have been enjoying what time I have spent with it.
Oh, never mind. This is not what I was thinking it was. Never mind.
I
No
do
idea.
I do love that the hand drawn stuff. Like
Yeah.
like anytime someone puts that much work into it, it's just like, oh man, this is gonna be great. This is gonna look great. Like I got on this summer, I bought it was like a re-release of like a remastered version of it's called like Monster World 3 or no Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's
Wonder
Trap.
Oh yes, and they did.
Yeah, and they did.
Yep.
They did complete, and it's
so
cool.
pretty.
It's cool because you can toggle between the original and the drawn stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then you can also toggle soundtracks instantly too.
Yep, and
the
that's
soundtrack is
available
so
on
good.
Switch as well.
What is it called?
It's called
Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap.
Okay.
Um,
Wonder Boy.
and yeah, the soundtrack on the remaster is like orchestrated and stuff. We get it, references.
I was just gonna keep it going.
I too am a fan of Spinal Tap.
Till you acknowledged me. That's basically how I survived in my house growing up.
Mumford and Sons is one of my favorite bands too.
Len.
If you steal my sunshine, making sure I'm not in too deep. They are brother and sister.
Really?
Yeah. You'd never guess it if you watched the music video.
Yeah.
They're real close.
Yeet.
Yeet, yeet.
Oh.
Speaking of in strange duos, I've mentioned House of Leaves before, right?
You have not, but I am familiar, and I've started reading it I don't know how many times. It is a challenging read, but it is amazing.
Like it's a different format of how the book is like written.
It's it's a foray into experimental fiction.
Yeah.
So it starts normal.
Yeah.
And when I say normal, I mean very normal.
Yeah.
The first odd thing you notice right away is that every time you see the word house,
It's in
It's in
red.
blue.
Right? Or blue,
It's in
that's
blue.
right. Yeah.
and
yeah,
then
Ryan, it's in blue.
and then so you diverge from what is essentially a study on a thing that never happened, an event that never happened, referencing videos that never existed and books, and we're talking like like reference material level type stuff. And then underneath that is you have these notes by this guy who found the manuscript that the top part of the book is from, that this guy had. And so
the top part of the book, the top part of the book is the dude finds the manuscript in the old man's apartment because the old man died. Mm-hmm. And he takes a manuscript and he starts writing notes in the margin. Mm-hmm. So it starts him telling his story in a narrative fashion, right. And then it goes into the manuscript with his notes in the margins and stuff, and kind of so you get text that's like outside in the margins and sideways and stuff like that.
I remember reading or hearing about this.
It gets nuts. Mark Z. Danielewski writes a bunch of weird stuff, like House of Leaves is the big one that everyone knows. He wrote this book called The 50-Year Sword, I believe, or The 100-Year Sword. And it is meant to be told, like spoken, like out loud, like on Halloween. And you have 5 readers. And you read this story about someone telling a story. And the story that is being told is way cool. Like, talking like cool, like fairy tale magic status, very simple and basic, but it's got this creepy thing going on underneath it, and it is so cool. The book features like illustrations that were embroidered as the format, and then the pictures of the embroidery are in the book.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's way past cool.
Way past cool.
Yeah, it's way past cool, but
it's past cool into Yeet
Mark C. Danielewski, the author, has a sister, and I don't know if you know Poe, P-O-E, the musician.
Yeah, I remember the musician.
Yeah, they're siblings.
No shit.
And she actually wrote a companion album to go with A House of Leaves.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Dude, I haven't thought about Poe since like 96.
For just a moment, I thought you were saying like Edgar Allan.
Yes.
No.
And like we're just like we're kind of insulting Ryan and I for like, just like, I don't know if you've heard of this one guy. You guys are definitely too stupid to realize.
What's weird is that music act was the first thing that came to mind. I was like, he couldn't be talking about that.
Yeah, I am. That album,
crazy.
That album is excellent, by the way.
I imagine,
because I mean, I read the book. That was one of the hardest things to get through. And I got to read it again. It's one of those books like I keep picking up and then I put down because it's like then it begins to take work after a little while. And it starts off as gradual work. It's like, oh, here's a box of text that's backwards, and I can read backwards okay. But then you have to start looking things up, and then it'll just be like, oh, here's some music notes.
No, yeah. The real question is, easier or harder to read than the Silmarillion?
Don't be Silmarillion.
It's a hard question, isn't it?
It's hard because the Silmarillion is like eating a box of Triscuits without any water.
That is the best. That should be like that book's tagline in marketing. Like the Silmarillion, like eating a box of Triscuits without water.
And like Triscuits are good. Don't get me wrong. We all like Triscuits, but eating a whole box of them all at once.
I don't know that we all like Triscuits.
We all like the idea of a snack cracker.
Sure. And not necessarily Triscuits. I would argue that Triscuits are not exactly the most popular of those.
Triscuits are a vehicle for cheese.
They certainly can be. You are absolutely correct.
I'm pretty sure most things can be characterized as a vehicle for cheese.
My hand is a vehicle for cheese. My hand is a semi for cheese.
It's a semi for cheese.
I've got a semi for cheese.
Do you make truck backing up sounds when you're eating?
I'm sorry, sir. Your permits are in order. Please come with us to the wing station. That's when he lost his hand.
But they're like, by the time you get to the middle of like House of Leaves, there are full blank pages with maybe 4 words on them. And
I'll bring it next week so you can take a look at it.
I've got a copy around here somewhere too.
I have taken a look at it before. we semi-studied it in one of my game design classes in college.
You think
So-
you know how to read?
I never had it. Yeah, it was like one of those things where I started reading. I was like, "This is fucking weird." And
I tried reading
never really
his other
picked it back
book,
up.
Only Revolutions, which is another crazy format where the book meets itself in the middle, and so you have overlapping.
So it's a palindrome.
Sort of, but you have overlapping stories that are being told one backwards and one forwards.
So it's the story of the Doctor and River song.
Maybe.
Oh, that's right. You're.
I love that reference. Thank you.
But I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
one of them is living their story forward, and one of them is living their
it
story
back.
back.
I'm not that much of a Farscape fan, so
Take that back, you motherfucker.
I do like Farscape.
That was beautiful.
Oh, but
should do that
yeah,
again.
weird sibling thing. Why were we talking about siblings again?
I have no idea.
Not a damn clue.
Is that what we were even talking about?
Well, you brought up Sibling Duo.
Oh, it was
What did I
was,
say? Did I say words? I don't remember saying words.
I distinctly remember you saying the word yeet.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Buffalo, 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 buffalo.
Yes.
Yeet.
In that one music video.
Oh yes, they are siblings.
yeah.
Yes, in Len.
Len.
They are
Len.
siblings.
But what were we talking about, Len, again?
Because you said Len.
Oh, yeah.
One of these days we'll actually have
Oh
a
my
format
God.
and it, like a
Yeah.
like a table of contents to follow, but it is not this day.
Speaking of things this week, though, you had a look of... I'm going to talk
No,
about...
I just realized that I have a rant. I'll save it for my allotted rant time.
I was getting ready to talk about sumo wrestling for a second because
go right ahead.
the next tournament's getting ready to start. I think it's next week or later this week, but it's like my roommate really got me into watching sumo.
Is there like a national sumo wrestling thing that we have on TV here?
Is it a Japanese?
Yeah,
one, or is
it's a Japanese thing.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But you have competitors from not just Japan either. Like you have Mongolian competitors. You have there's a guy from Georgia, and not the not the place you think.
Yeah.
And it is such a cool sport. It is like the most beautiful display of masculinity in competition I've ever seen. Because in addition to it being like watching two trains collide with each other with skill and poise, but like everyone's attitudes, and it's treated very respectfully, and everyone's very serious. Like the audience is trying to rein itself in, and it's like, there's tension in the air, and it's really, really cool.
Interesting.
It's going to start in a couple of weeks, or not a couple of weeks, a couple of days, I think, and we're gonna be watching that at my house because that's great. The tournaments last for like 15 days. And everyone competes one time a day.
So then this is this a yearly event? Is this meant to be like an international like championship sort of situation? Or
Kind of, except that it's not once a year. It's like they have multiple tournaments a year.
Okay. Multiple international tournaments.
Yeah, and the stuff that we're watching is like the best of the best. Like, there are different tiers of sumo, of like what you classify as. The highest being Yokozuna.
When you say tiers of sumo, I just think of this being like, like
there are many tiers of the sumo.
yes, exactly.
Tiers of the sumo.
It sounds like it needs to be an ingredient of a potion. Tears of sumo. And the only way that you can get the tears of a sumo wrestler is by telling like a very specific haiku, like reciting a very specific haiku to him. And
the snow is falling on Mount Fuji.
Yeah, it's like it's like a story of his homeland or something.
Yeah.
A single tear falls and you
How do you
collect it.
collect the tear though? Do you just like run up with a little vial?
No,
and,
with the
like,
turkey
scoop
baster,
it
just-
You also get his eye, but
oh god! He starts crying really hard. Then and it's like, well, that would have been easier from the beginning. And I just stole his eyeball, and then
And then you just kind of wring it out. There we go. Those are all tears, right?
you melon
bit of
ball.
blood.
You have a melon baller. Just
Yeah.
no. This is a sport that's been going on at this level for I know over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And
very old sport.
so the highest tier that you can get, Yokozuna. There's like 70 guys.
Man, I
69
loved
or
that WWF wrestling.
It's like you are the physical embodiment, mind, soul, and spirit of what sumo is. And it's beyond your constant winning all the time, because that's also part of it. But it's also like how you carry, like there's a certain charisma you need to have to be at that level. And it's really, really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I recommend you give it a shot. I'll send you some links.
Yeah, I'd be into checking that out. That would be...
Also, it's really great just seeing these huge dudes just like collide with each other. Like it's like linebackers, you know. And they're like 20% body fat.
Yeah.
Which that's always crazy to me, because I have seen like pictures of real sumo wrestlers before, and it's not like what you'd think.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like what the popular
It's not
depiction.
like... It's not like beer gut. It's not... Yeah.
It's not fat bastard jumping up in
Yeah,
there.
no.
Like,
And the training procedures are not training. The whole thing, like they live in the training facility. They eat a lot, then they take naps to gain the weight, and then it's just constant exercising, and it's so crazy. I love it. I'm very excited about this next season, Cotton.
let's see how it works out for him.
On ESPN 8, The Ocho.
I'm not a sports person, but I have a sport. I have found a sport.
Yeah.
You consistently surprise me with your discussion of sport things that are. It's just like you like the outer ring, like the eighth circle of sports.
Circle of sports.
But let's be fair, like, you know, sumo is ancient. Sumo predates any sport that we that is popular in current culture.
And even after it's football, God bless it.
And
This is true.
you know, I think that I think that there's something to be said for a love for the way that these older sports were done, versus the commercialization, the hero worship, the hero worship to the point of turning a blind eye to things like familial abuse and shit like that.
But you do have to wonder if that was also a thing in with sumo wrestling. Like, we
In
don't
the
have
time?
in the time, yeah. And think about, for instance, we talked about it last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, Wow. Libre, not Nacho Libre.
Yeah, the luchador stuff.
Luchadors.
Yeah.
Like, that is extreme hero worship, and like I'm sure they have a very similar kind of, where it's like those really big name guys could get away with murder. I mean, that was basically the plot of Coco.
I would expect, and Brooks, if you know more, certainly correct me if I'm wrong in this assumption, but I would expect that with sumo, because one of the major tenets of being a sumo wrestler is honor, I would not expect that to have been as rampant even when sumo was the big thing.
Yeah, it certainly is treated with a kind of reverence, but it's not like the person. Although, you do honor the person, but it's like the sport for the love of the game. And like its purest sense is like, if you're going to be at the top, then you are the embodiment of the sport. And so that comes with certain responsibilities, with certain attitudes you have and things like that. And there's only been, like I said before, like there's only been like 69 or 70 people that have had that title. And it's like you have people that win and win and win and that are really, really good that are on the level tier below that. But, it's decided by a board, of like, okay, you're going to be, you embody blah, blah, blah. It's like the Iron Chef of, where it's like, all right, so your whole life is this, and now you have attained this rank. And
God, Japan must have been so pissed off at the WWF to have a wrestler named Yokozuna.
Yeah.
I've been working so hard.
Or Rikishi, for that matter, because Rikishi is a term, is
really
a term as well. Yeah. It's yeah.
Wow.
I mean, without Japan though, we wouldn't have Mick Foley. So gotta keep it hardcore, Tyler.
I don't get that reference.
We're gonna get the bag of tax out, Tyler.
But why do we need Japan for Mick Foley?
Gonna powerbomb you in a
These are all words that are happening that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Welcome to us watching football.
Yes.
I got that one.
Homeschool,
I get that reference.
Homeschool high five.
One of the sports that I found myself actually getting into is roller derby.
Oh yeah.
And because my ex-wife was in derby, and it's just really interesting and a lot of fun. And it was especially interesting to watch it at the time that I was watching it because it's still, even now, a relatively young sport. As in, this was WFTDA, so Women's Flat Track Derby Association, and it was founded in like 2005, I think.
Oh wow.
Or maybe 2003 at the earliest. And to watch the league grow and watch the rules grow and see the abuses of the rules that require them to revisit those rules and watch those rules grow and shape as it becomes a more popular sport.
They learn
so
pretty
it's been
quick.
really, really fascinating.
Learn pretty quick that the brass knuckles are out.
That was week one.
There was
handguns can't be a thing.
Steel-toed skates.
There was one thing where the team that had the most members on the track had power of the speed of the track, and so they would slow it down to practically a stop. And it was allowed by the rules at the time, but they had more players on, and it made it easier for them to score points. Because are either of you familiar with how you score points in roller derby?
I know that it involves points and counting them.
Okay.
I know that it involves skates.
So there's jammers and blockers, and the jammer is the person who and pivots and all these different positions. But primarily, the jammer is in the scoring position, and the jammer gets a point for every person of the opposing team that they lap. And so the jammer is the one that you see with the star on their helmet, and they're going around the track. And
so they're just trying to go as fast as they can.
They're trying to get through the pack go around and get through the pack as unimpeded as possible. It's everyone else's job to either assist or prevent that from happening. If you have a certain number of players who are out for penalties or anything like that, then your team is at an automatic disadvantage because they've got a bigger wall, basically, that they can build out of girls.
Out of human flesh.
And at that point, you basically have control over the speed that the game goes. And it was championships and national championships in 2008, 2009, something like that, when this happened, where this one team just like slowed down, and it was working for them. They were fucking killing it in points. Every time they did it, you could hear on the live stream, you could hear the crowd booing. And while it may have been a valid tactic, it felt unsportsmanlike, and it was not engaging or fun to watch.
Yeah, it sounds unsportsmanlike. Just like, if you would, even if you hadn't mentioned that was against the rules, be like, that's fucking lame.
Yeah,
it just wouldn't be fun to watch.
Yeah, because like the sports, there's a certain showmanship, involved in any public kind of thing you do.
Sure.
And I mean, sports are entertainment, and so if it's really boring to watch, like, I'm trying to think of a boring sport. Playing Risk or something like that. It's like that's not going to make for a good entertainment because it's just people pushing things on a board.
It's like running. It's like riding
chess
your bike.
Championships are a thing, and people enjoy the hell out of those.
Yeah, but those are intense, especially like timed chess and shit. To watch that happen, that's intense. You can get invested in that. That's something that
I'm just saying I would get totally invested in a Risk championship if you had this.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay. But it's more like
that's right.
I'm gonna, do this jump. I'm gonna do this super sweet jump. I'm gonna go up this ramp. I'm gonna, whatever. And it's
ramps?
like running up the. No. I'm equating it to.
I was like, where?
Like I'm gonna do this huge jump.
Ball Masters.
And you just you ride the bike up the ramp, and then you just kind of go off the end instead of
got
flying.
3 feet of air that time.
Yeah.
Or like
if I
with
try really quick.
There was like some a lot of media coverage of like it was like a high school team or like because there's no shot clock in basketball on the lower levels.
Oh, there isn't?
Underneath college, there's no shot clock.
I say that with surprise, as though
like
I knew that there was
exactly.
a shot clock at all.
Ah, yes, the gymnasium.
But basically, like there was like a couple.
This
of years
looks like
ago,
a place in which sports occur.
A couple of years ago, this high school team won like 2-0 because they took a shot and then scored,
and then just held
and
on
then
to
just
the
kind of once they got the ball back, they just passed it back and forth until the time.
That's
and I was like,
shitty.
it was something like that, and it's like it's the same kind of thing. Where it's like, okay, we gotta find something to fix.
Wow,
this.
you guys totally won.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh man, it's weird the sports we pick.
Yeah,
it is. You guys are weird.
I have to see
weird the weird ones.
My roommate by chance.
I think
get
we
tickets
all
to
are
a
the
polo
weird ones.
match yesterday. He went to a polo match.
Now, is this water polo or is this
This is horseback.
This is like Scottsdale Westworld polo.
Okay.
That doesn't
Sponsored
really.
by Bentley and Barrett Jackson.
Okay, you're saying words that are not specifying this for me.
Like Ralph Lauren.
Okay, I get it now.
There you go. Okay.
Which he said it was very underwhelming.
Yeah, I imagine that would be kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, unless it's like hockey and there's like body checking with horses and then you like fight each other like
as you're going going around, you're like drifting on the horse,
right?
With a bunch of mallets and stuff. No, because like I've only seen.
You have a bag of mallets just to replace the one that you crack over your opponent's skull.
My good mallets.
Is this like a hammer bro only sport?
I mean, I've only seen little bits of polo even represented and stuff, and it was always in Miami Vice.
I don't think I've ever even watched Miami Vice.
I love that show so much. Oh my god.
I don't like Miami Vice is a crime procedural-ish show, right?
It's an experience. Okay, so I'm trying to put this in cultural perspective. So like synthwave and like
yes,
synthwave would not exist as we know it without Miami Vice.
Yeah,
the aesthetic, the choice of music.
I remember
the like pop suit collars with a plain shirt underneath.
That's Miami Vice.
Honestly,
that's a
the
neon
only thing
color.
about Miami Vice that I know is the aesthetic. I have no idea how an episode of Miami Vice happened. Like, I just know the stuff that has come from Miami Vice, and that's pretty much it.
They have so many crazy like cameos and guest star appearances from people that would later be famous. One episode in the first season, I believe. It's the first season. Bruce Willis was the bad guy in an episode of Miami Vice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, and he plays a piece of shit. Like, we're talking like weapons smuggling and like wife beating, like money bad guy. It's really, I mean, the show's rad. That's all I'm going to say.
I
about
guess I'll
Miami
try
Vice.
and watch it sometime.
It's on Hulu
These days.
Oh, is it on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
There's a billion things I have to watch.
Yeah,
So
Miami
just you
Vice
wait.
is one of them.
Just you wait.
Adventure
That's for your
Time is one of
Hamilton
them.
fans.
Yeah, I would rather you watch Adventure Time before Miami Vice.
Oh, I
yeah.
know.
Yeah. You need to watch Adventure Time.
What
And
did
then
we just
American
watch?
Horror
Oh,
Story.
I watched Sabrina this past week.
Oh, did you?
I
Yeah.
started the first
I
episode
was-
That
today.
scary.
Okay.
It was
yeah,
okay.
no, I wouldn't say that it's scary, but the tone that they're going for is like traditional 80s horror.
It felt like a combination of, and just watching the intro, it was like, okay, I think I know what they're going for here. It's like a weird combination between 80s horror and like pulp.
Yeah,
It felt-
absolutely.
Yeah, it felt pulpy to
I
me.
d-
Big
I
time.
do love me
which
some
I
pulp.
enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it.
I
was fun.
was just drastically surprised by it, considering my expectations going in were, fucking Riverdale.
Mm.
You know.
I like my my fiction like I like my orange juice, a little sweet and with extra pulp.
And with no toothpaste, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's the bad story elements, I guess, would be toothpaste, right? In that-
Yeah,
in
exactly. I was totally going for a metaphor, of course.
Simply Orange and
Not
and
just a
Colgate
stupid joke.
present Riverdale.
that. Yeah, accurate.
Thank you for making my joke relevant.
It's like Andy's mince and tuna salad.
Oh, God. And I don't like tuna salad to begin with, but I love Andy's mince.
I don't know anyone that likes one but does not like the.
Are you sure these are two things that are very, very polarizing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever eaten an Andy's mint followed by a tuna salad by eating
No.
tuna
Not
salad?
followed.
Because
I've
I
had
don't
both.
like tuna salad.
I like regular tuna, not tuna salad.
They call me tuna salad. I know it's a different.
No. And we will be making no references to blue collar comedy on this cast, sir. Those fucking.
I know they're awful.
Go to the fridge and drink enough Zimas until you sort yourself out.
I grew up in that type of household. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you, having lived in Florida, would understand.
No, I absolutely understand. The problem is they're not doing it ironically.
This is fair.
They're not doing it to laugh at it. They are being themselves.
They are quite taken with them.
And I didn't actually realize that until after Trump got elected.
Yeah.
And hearing any of them talk about the current presidency is, oh, okay, you're
Yeah.
not a comedian. You're just a redneck.
we I'm saying, yeah, it's I mean, how dare you have to make us talk about this?
I'm so sorry.
We're
Do you
having
see
such
what
a
you've
nice
done?
time.
Now I just need whiskey.
Southern comfort.
The South is anything but comfortable. Yeah, I did not love my days living in Florida.
I never lived in Florida, but I
lived in
half my
Florida for a
family's
year,
from Florida.
but fortunately enough, I was too young to remember.
But fortunately,
Yes, fortunately. But
But
fortunately.
but fortunately,
Half haste helps,
a-
but whole
it's a-
haste hinders.
but fortune.
But fortune. Yes, I made my fortune in the ass mines of Colombia.
Where in Florida did
The
you live?
fishes. I was born in Orlando.
Oh no shit! I was born in the Florida Keys.
I hope you gave them back when you moved out.
Make it like a high, make a hiney ho. If you're gonna do a pee-wee laugh, then I'm gonna throw in some.
Hey, zombie!
I'm Cowboy Curtis.
Lawrence Fishburne.
No.
Okay. I remember making the Lawrence Fishburne connect with a lot of things. When his daughter was in the news, and then I looked at him like a picture of him that wasn't in a movie or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
As in, like, you noticed him in that he was in.
Yeah, well, I noticed that he was in like
Everything.
not everything, but quite a few things as Cowboy Curtis.
Cowboy Curtis. And John B. the Genie.
He was in Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Was he really?
Is that the Dream Warriors?
Yes.
Yeah. The Dream Warriors.
Lopan, Superman, and every single Power Ranger.
Did
Bill S. Preston, Theodore Logan, Spock the Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan all came out of nowhere lightning fast.
Yes, thank you. I get it. This is the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
For someone to acknowledge.
Thank you, Lemon Demon.
You're welcome.
So, the time has come. It's the end of the podcast. We do not have voicemail this week.
It's because I always keep forgetting to actually write down this number so I can give it to people and tell them.
So, if you would like to be on the podcast, leave a message for us or any such thing, just give us a call at 805-222-6287. That's 805-222-6287. And we will play and make fun of you or make fun with you on the podcast.
That's a really nice way of saying that we're going to mock somebody on the internet.
I mean, basically.
I'm making us Topless Robot is now a contact in my phone, so I'm going to start handing it out to random people.
You're late to the party.
I know. I'm a horrible person. 9 weeks late.
Yeah.
Still think we should write it on the bathroom wall.
Yes, we've been saying that since like episode 3.
Yeah, something like that.
One of these days.
Grab a Sharpie before we go out.
I have a rant this week.
Excellent.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. You guys remember the amazing show Reboot?
Yes, I was hoping you would start. I was expecting a rant from this.
Rebot.
Continue.
So, Reboot was one of my favorite shows. It was awesome, and I mean, it's that 3D animation when 3D animation was new, and so what they were doing was, first off, amazing from a technical perspective, but secondly, it was like remarkably well written, and there were fun, likable characters, and it visually is dated for sure. Like you can look back at it and be like, "Oh damn, why did they make this on an Amiga?" But it is still fun. Like it's fun to go back to.
It looks 90s and like cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it's so cool.
So
It was amazing. I love that show.
They've been talking about rebooting the series.
Nah.
Yeah, get it out of your system.
Get it? They reboot.
They've been talking about rebooting it for years. Like I remember first hearing rumblings of it probably 7 years ago at this point. And it's been some time. And it wasn't until a few podcasts ago when we brought up Reboot that one of our listeners, Rob Bobberty.
Yeah, Rob Bobberty. Thank you, Rob Bobberty.
Thank you, Rob Bobberty.
You are the source of this.
Rob Bobberty. Rob Bob.
What he actually said was
This podcast rant was brought to you by Rob Bobberty.
he posted, "Hey Ryan, still catching up on the podcast. You were talking about Reboot. Did someone already tell you there's a sequel to Reboot, or do I get to ruin your night with what they made?" A more accurate statement could not have been made. Apparently, earlier this year, there's Reboot Guardians, the Guardian Code.
That already sounds really dumb.
It sounds awful.
And they basically have taken Reboot and turned it into Mighty Morphin Reboot Rangers, where there's live action. There was never live action in the original.
You don't need live action.
And there are 4 kids who become guardians, like what Bob was, and go into something that they never call Mainframe to fight for the integrity of a system that's being hacked by a guy named the Sorcerer, Sourcer.
Oh, how clever.
ER. And
Sounds like VR Troopers.
It sounds like shitty Tron.
So what sucks, I think the thing that
Trown.
Trounce it.
I'm still watching it, and I am going to follow this through. There are 2 seasons on Netflix. I am going to watch all of it.
They're on Netflix? Oh, I might have
the
to join
punishment
you.
begins.
And I'm going to write up a significant rant. But so far, fuck this fucking show. Because, I mean, and for they...
Oh, the rage, it wells within him.
So, Megabyte shows up in episode 2. And Megabyte is under the Sorcerer's command. And I have to give them credit where credit is due, considering Tony J has been dead for a decade. The guy who they got to do the voice of Megabyte does a remarkably good Tony J impression. He sounds very much like a Megabyte should sound. However, the only other sprites in the game, like in the series, like what the sprites were what they referred to as the denizens of mainframe. The people who lived in mainframe were binomes and sprites and nulls. And nulls were sprites who got caught in game and got killed. First off, the whole game thing isn't a thing in this.
Really?
That would be too complicated.
And mainframe is this, as it's portrayed in the original reboot, is this bustling city with a wealth of characters. Even the binomes, who are generic, shaped as ones and zeros, are characters in themselves. And they none of those characters are present. There are only like lifeless drones that protect the core. Fong is nowhere to be seen. If I'm to believe the cover image of this thing, Hexadecimal does show up because you can see her eyebrows and her eyes in the back of this promo art for the Guardians Code. But that basically means that these guys watched Reboot and went, Megabyte, Hexadecimal. Everyone else, fuck you.
What the fuck?
They didn't even include my favorite main character of Reboot, Robert.
Rob Reboot.
Rob Boot.
So
The Topless Robot podcast.
I am going to finish watching the series, but so far, it's a resounding fuck you to this series. That's my rant.
That is super disappointing.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
It's a bummer, dude.
I'm extremely
That feels like a bummer.
considering how long they've been talking about making more Reboot, and now that it comes out and it is, I mean, who do you think your audience is going to be?
Exactly. Like, if you're going to pull something like that out of the annals of media history,
Yeah.
you pander. You pander.
Like, if you wanted to make a new show that was done in that style to get in a new audience, you don't need to make a fucking reboot show.
Well, what if they already had a property and then had that made, and then later was like, oh wait, we can use this now, and they just inserted Reboot stuff into this lame ass not Tron.
Yeah,
Not Tron.
I am disappointed, and I still wait for the day when we get a proper Reboot sequel. I mean, shit, man, following like Enzo as a Guardian would be an interesting storyline. Bob is long gone, and we've already seen Enzo all beefed up in the later seasons of Reboot and shit. Like, let's follow the Enzo storyline. Let's, or some semblance or some connection to Mainframe.
I haven't thought of this show in so long.
Enzo
Besides our
Beefaroni.
many talks about it on previous podcasts, and I'm like going through back in my head. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I watched this after school in fourth grade.
That was a show.
it was a great show. Anyway, that's my rant. Either of you guys have a rant this week?
Hashtag not my reboot.
Yes.
I feel like you're gonna get a lot of traffic for movies that you don't care about.
Yeah.
They absolutely cannot remake any which way but loose.
Hashtag not my Guardians. Oh wait. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob Boot.
Is the name of this podcast going to be the Topless Reboot?
Oh god.
The titless reboot.
The toothless reboot.
Ugh.
The topless reboot.
All right, rants. We gotta run and
I don't
film
rant.
Bargain Hunter Brooks.
I'm good.
I've got nothing this week. It was a good week.
All right, cool.
Played a lot of.
Well, remember you can give us a call at you played a lot of Red Dead.
Yeah.
Remember, you can give us a call at 805-222-6287, and we will play your voicemail on the air and have a little fun with it.
It will be a caprice to be shared by all.
It'll be a hoot. It'll be a rip roaring hoot, nanny.
Hoot. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching and or listening. I have been Ryan.
I may be Brooks in a future timeline.
And I am Tyler.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeet, yeet.
I'm taking off today and breathe. Sometimes you have to sit if you want to make a stand. Hate the shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.